So I think by now we all know that Sneako has some of the worst takes on the internet. And of course, this whole sketch situation getting really popular, he had to give his 2 cents. And I watched the video and we're going to break it down here in a minute. But before we do, I just want to point out that this is his MO. This is what Sneako does. He sees something go viral on the internet. Everybody talks about it. He sees what side the majority are on, and then he picks the opposite side. I don't even necessarily think that he completely agrees with the opposite side. I think he's just made a career off of going against the grain, and he's going to continue to do that. And hey, shout out to him. He's getting a bag for it, and it works. So I'm not really upset with it. I just feel like he always says the dumbest shit ever, and this is no different. So I promise you, if this sketch situation came out and everybody was against Sketch, if everybody was throwing shade at him, you know damn well that Sneako would have came out and been like, well, I feel like Sketch is a pretty good guy. Everyone's just hating on him, the same that they did with me and so on and so forth. But because he's getting love, he's got to pick the opposite end of it and go against that grain.
You know, just the craziest thing about Sketch is I'm seeing everyone's like, Sketch is one of the most genuine dudes ever. He's genuinely, I don't know what's the new Twitch word. He's genuinely one of the most genuine guys ever. No, he wasn't. No, he's not. He lied to you about his life. You're acting like it was like 2 years ago, he was taking it up the ass and getting paid for it on OnlyFans. One of those genuine guys that he would have been straight up about his life. What a crazy thing to keep secret. It was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. 5 years ago, I talked about like regrettably going to a swinger party and made jokes about it. To this day, they still bring it up. They're like, Sneako. And then Sketch gets exposed for like being a gay OnlyFans star. It's in the past. Let it go. You're a hero. You're so brave. You're so brave. What the did he do that's brave? What did he do?
So there's more to this video, but at this point I had to stop it because it doesn't really make much sense to me. Like imagine somebody going into a friendship or just a meeting with somebody that you've never met before. And the first thing you say is, you know what? 4 years ago, I got into a DWI accident. I ended somebody's life. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that, because if I don't tell you, if I don't just come up front and say it, I'm a liar. I'm not a genuine person. Who does that? Everybody has some shit in their past. Maybe it's not as crazy as this. Maybe it's some light stuff, but you don't just go into it and say it. Like I don't get into a relationship with somebody and say, hey, you know what? In the past, I cheated on one of my exes. Hey guys, I cheated on this person. I did this. I beat up one of my friends when I was younger. These aren't things that you tell people. And just because I'm not coming up front and saying it doesn't mean that I'm not a genuine person. We all evolve over time. So this argument in itself is one of the dumbest arguments that I've ever seen. That somehow Sketch was supposed to just be like, hey guys, sit down. I've got to tell you guys about my entire life, every crazy thing that I've done, and then I can be a genuine friend to you guys. That's just not how it works. That's not how life works. When people say that someone's been genuine, it doesn't mean that they've shared their whole past life and every single thing about them. It just means that their interactions with him since they've met him have been genuine. He's been a good person. And I'm pretty sure that that's true and nobody's lying about that. Sneako just sounds upset because of the fact that he is still getting called a cuck all these years later. And I can explain to you exactly why there's a difference, right? Because let's just look at it like this. Neither of them did anything illegal. Sketch had a gay OnlyFans that he never told anybody about, and Sneako decided to let his girlfriend get her back broken by multiple different men. So on the surface, it seems like a good argument. Why am I still getting shit, but everybody's praising him and saying he's so genuine and this and that? And the reason is the type of person that you are. Since Sneako's been on the internet, nobody likes him. He's turned on people that are his friends. He calls people out that have helped him, like Mr. Beast when he put him in his videos. He talks shit about everybody. He's just not a good person. And on the other hand, you have Sketch, and I know Sneako doesn't like this word, but he's been a genuinely good person to everybody he's met. He tries to make people laugh. He's respectful. He's nice to everybody. So of course people are going to rally around him and forgive him and support him because he's actually been a nice person. Sneako has burned every single bridge possible. It's why there's so many clips of influencers just walking by him, ignoring him, talking about him, because that's what he does to them. He's shit on so many different people, and then he expects them all to turn around and be the nicest person in the world to him, and that's just not realistic. I don't even understand how he tries to push this narrative. Now, he's just talking about influencers, because fan-wise, there's going to be viewers that are going to get on Sketch for years to come. They're going to send him this stuff in the DMs, they're going to troll him, no different than they do to Sneako. But the reason why influencers also troll Sneako is because that's the kind of person he is. He's made it so he deserves it. He's made it so nobody likes him, so nobody wants to let him forget that he did that. That's the difference. And it's like he's too slow in his little brain to understand that that's why Sketch is being praised, why Sketch is being supported and loved, and people are putting this behind him immediately because everybody who's met him has liked him and he's been respectful. That's the difference. Now, that aside, it seems like he's confused why Sketch is even getting any of this love. It really shouldn't be that hard for anybody to figure out. If you just look at it on the surface level, it makes all the sense in the world. Not only that, but this man was in a very negative space where he clearly was thinking about taking his own life. And because of that, people are pushing more positivity out there. A lot of people are saying they support Sketch. They're putting all this stuff on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, social media in general, because of the fact that they're trying to negate some of the negativity that he's getting. So he doesn't want to end his life. So I don't know why he's so upset about that. Now, yes, maybe Sneako could say, you know what? I was at a really down point in my life when all that happened to me and people just kept piling on. But again, it comes down to the person you are. If you're shitty to all of the people around you, you can't expect that when something goes wrong, they're all going to just jump up and support you. That's not how life works. It's crazy to think that he's at the age that he is and he doesn't understand that yet.
I saw all these people who have never said a word about Palestine since October 7th, bombed every day. Innocent children, and we see it all over the timeline. They all see it. They're on the same Twitter app that we're all on. They see the kids getting bombed every single day. They don't say a word. Sketch takes it up the ass, and everyone says, "You're the best person ever." What did he do?
Now, this was the other part that I had a big problem with, because I don't like when people try to use one bad situation to degrade another situation. That's like saying, hey, listen, there's murders going on, so why are we worried about thieves? Why are we worried about people stealing? There's people that have been murdered, so you should focus on that. And I think that that's crazy, because Sneako himself is literally using the other stuff that's going on in the world because it gets clicks and views. He can sit here and act all day like he's so concerned, and that's really what he's all about, and he's trying to push a narrative for the best, and you guys just don't seem to care about it because I don't see you guys talking about it. And I'm just curious, like, how far do we take that? Can a mother not be upset that her kid is having some problem in school, so she goes to the school council, she complains about it because he's being bullied? Should you tell her like that she shouldn't focus on that? There's kids dying in another part of the world. Your kid is just being bullied. He's gonna survive. Like, where do we draw the line at what we can and can't talk about because other stuff is going on? Just because you believe that people should be talking about a very serious matter doesn't mean that they can't step in for other issues that they can directly affect. This man was thinking of ending his life, and all of these people coming forward and trying to help him and be there for him can stop that from happening. They can have a direct effect on it. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't talk about other things. I'm not here to say that at all, because obviously there's horrible shit going on in the world, but trying to use that to downplay people trying to help someone that was thinking of ending his life is kind of sick. Like, I just feel like this dude is just so ignorant, and he's so caught up in this going against the grain and getting these views and clicks and everything like that, that he doesn't realize how stupid he actually comes across. So being that Sneako is so concerned with other things that are going on in the world, I feel like we should bring up a couple of the things that are happening that I've never seen Sneako talk about yet. Intense fighting broke out in Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo in 2023 following the collapse of a truce between the government and the armed group M23. This exacerbated and protracted crisis that had already exposed millions of Congolese to conflict, political tensions, economic pressures, climate shocks, and persistent disease outbreaks. The country enters 2024 with 25.4 million people in need of humanitarian assistance, more than any other country on earth. So why aren't you talking about this, Sneako? I guess I just don't really understand, because this is a pretty serious situation, but it's not getting clicks and views. It's not being spread by the media, so of course, Sneako's not going to mention it. Conflict in Myanmar has spread significantly since the military retook political power in 2021. In October 2023, 3 major armed groups resumed clashes with the government, putting state military forces under significant pressure and causing increased civilian harm. 18.6 million people in Myanmar are now in need of humanitarian assistance, nearly 19 times more than before the military takeover. Now, maybe I'm missing something and Sneako talks about all this, but there are lists and lists of all sorts of crazy shit that is going on around the world, but yet he seems to only talk about the one that is spread around the media, that's getting clicks and views, that everybody is talking about so he can get more money. The ongoing war between the Sudanese armed forces and rapid support forces has propelled Sudan to the top of the 2024 emergency watch list and pushed the country to the brink of collapse. Less than a year of fighting has already more than doubled the number of people in need of humanitarian support. In Darfur, human rights groups have reported mass killings and forced displacement along ethnic lines. The crisis is expected to dramatically deteriorate through 2024, leaving millions with insufficient food and unable to access critical health and other services. And some people have tweeted at Sneako about this and called him out. In the last year, there are 10 times as many Muslim versus Muslim deaths in Sudan as Gaza, but Sneako is fine with that. Only when a is involved does he post or get outraged. We all get what that means. Someone even commented about this in response to what he said about Sketch. Sudan loses that last city and we will see 2001 genocide all over again, and nobody gives a F about it because it's not trendy. This Palestine shit is insignificant compared to. Now, I'm not here to say that anything is insignificant. Obviously, I'm just reading the tweets, but people are pointing this out, that there's some worse shit that's even happening in the world, but it's not getting the media coverage. And yet people like Sneako, who keep claiming that everybody is doing this stuff for Sketch because they want clicks and views and they want to get awards and so on and so forth, and he's trying to sell you guys this story, himself is only talking about the popularized stuff. He's not talking about anything else going on in the world. So if he really cared, then wouldn't this be his focus? All of these different things? Wouldn't he be bringing this stuff up regularly and talking about it and trying to push help for it instead of talking about the one thing that is definitely getting you clicks and views right now? So it just seems like this dude is a fraud. He's just fake. He's trying to paint these different narratives for you guys. He's made his whole career about going against the grain, and then he utilizes horrible things going on in the world to try to downplay other things, to try to make people look worse than they actually are, because that's just what he does. That is literally his brand. Now, again, I leave open the possibility that maybe I'm wrong. I tried to Google some tweets from him. I tried to see if he talked about this in videos. I can't seem to find any information. So maybe he's talked about it in live streams. It's just never been clipped. It's never been posted anywhere. I can't say for sure, but it doesn't seem like this man is pushing a narrative on anything but the popular stuff. Because again, that's just what he does. And I'm not trying to act like I'm so much better. I'm not talking about any of this stuff either, but I'm also not pushing a narrative to you guys that, well, you should be talking about this because this is more serious than that. And so all of you guys are horrible people. Like, where is your tweets about this place or that place? I'm not doing that. That's what he's doing. Well, he is also ignoring other shit that's going on in the world. So I just feel like he's goofy. He's always been goofy. Unfortunately, he's acquired a group of people that enjoy hating on shit, that enjoy going against the grain, and they're going to continue to follow him. As you saw when he was doing all this talking, there was W's in his chat like crazy because there's a lot of weird people in the world, and he found a way to gather them together to allow himself to make revenue, and he's going to continue to make that off of you guys when he does not care about any of you. He's just utilizing the views that you have, which I bet you deep down he thinks are stupid, but he knows how to manipulate it. So I'll give him credit for that. Shout out to him for that. But this shit is just wild to me. So I don't know. He's a clout demon who's just looking for the next thing to bandwagon and jump on. It's crazy that a lot of you guys don't seem to see that, but curious your opinion. Let me know down below. I'll catch you in the next one, homies.